So we're taking a walk through the Kelowna General Hospital here, and this is a new building, and some really, really amazing stuff here. Some great people, some great staff, and um, you know, a pretty magnificent building in in the face of the shortages and everything else that's going on in the world right now. Um, I've had amazing uh, opportunities and service and care here to appreciate what it is the healthcare professionals do. And something else has occurred to me about, you know, essential workers and essential services. And one of the things I'd like to point out is that, yes, the COVID is um, a healthcare ailment, and it's causing some massive disturbances in healthcare and our society and everything else. But something else that is really important to know is just because you might not be in healthcare, your services are essential as well, in my mind. I thought about a tattoo that I recently got that meant a lot to me. One was for a passing of a friend of mine who passed away from overdose, and in his legacy, I got a tattoo, and it meant a lot to me. And the second was a tattoo I got of a cross, as it also meant a lot to me. And so, I think. Over here. No. Um, you know, Everything that most people do in in their lives is essential in some shape, way, or form. And while we can say the healthcare professionals are the unsung heroes or what have you of this pandemic, there's so much fear and anxiety and uncertainty in the world right now. I'd like to say that everyone that had a role in someone's life is also a unsung hero. And I'd like to just remind you that, you know, your role most likely is also extremely essential in some shape, way, or form. That said, I'd like to point out that even in healthcare, just as there's in all professions, you have the shining stars and you have those that are simply there for a job and collecting a paycheck or collecting um, collecting tenure, collecting seniority or what have you. But one of the things that stands out to me is that we give healthcare professionals, a lot of credit, and we see them on the news all the time and the hardships they go through. And it is, as I was a registered nurse, it is a very demanding job. And the demands, which are quite amazing, oftentimes are not the patients per se. For the most part, the demands are the number of hats that they wear and the number of bosses or order givers or procedural obligations that they must fulfill to do their job. When you look at nursing, they've got the union responsibilities and dues and the administrative responsibilities and rules and regulations. Then they've got the patients that are sometimes demanding, the doctors that are demanding. A lot of times, the demands placed upon them are either contradictory to each other or not extremely efficient in doing and allowing them to do their job or do what's right for the patient. And I'm not saying to, throw away all rules and abolish all procedures and regulations, but when we look at Canada as being, formerly one of the most desired places in the world to live, it was back at a time when standards of living around the world were maybe not as high as what they are in Canada. And those rules and regulations that made this country one of the greatest places to live are now the same rules and regulations which handcuff our ability to adapt with the rate of change. And they actually slow us down. They stifle our economy and our advancement and our ability to keep up with the rate of change of economics and sociographic trends in the world. And so I'd like to just make a point to, you, whether you're a tattooist or a hairdresser or a clothing retailer or a drywaller or a painter, your services are essential to someone. It could be from a mental health perspective. It could be from a financial perspective. It could be for a whole host of reasons. But you don't see your names being thrown in the news, and you're not being called the unsung heroes, and you're not getting the credit for going through this pandemic, which is, it's simply a virus. It's a virus, and whether there's conspiracy behind it or man-made or 5G technology in the vaccines or what have you, it's a virus. But the real pandemic is the fear and the anxiety associated with the unknown and the uncertainty of the future that is stifling and crippling so many communities and so many societies around the globe. And my advice to you is learn to let go of fear. Learn to let go of uncertainty and follow the light. Follow the path, follow the right, and take each breath as a blessing, and take each day and each glass of water, each meal that you have as something to be grateful for. And maybe you own a house right now, but you're going through foreclosure, or you're unemployed, but you're running out of finances or what have you. I want you to know that there are kind people in the world, and kindness and love will prevail. And I believe the human race has the power to squash the fear of this virus. And if we use the tools that we have, and the tools that we have that we're not using effectively is access to data and access to global communication. These are the tools which are crippling us. When we look at the news, we don't see very many good news stories, and we see a lot of fighting, and we see a lot of bickering, and we see a lot of horrific things happening. I challenge you to create networks and find social circles of positivity and positive thought and positive connection to your neighbors, your neighborhoods, your cities, your provinces, your countries, and your other communities that you belong to around the world. And focus on the good. Focus on what it is you want. If this is called a reset, which perhaps it is, a great reset for mankind, let us reset and let us end suffering and the massive amounts of displacement and inequalities that are around the world. And let's shape our future to the way it is supposed to be, and that is heaven on earth. And as we look at this Christmas tree out here on January the 8th or 9th, I think it is, I'd like you to know that we're one day closer to Christmas, in the spirit of Christ and the spirit of giving and the spirit of joy and abundance. We're one day closer to the next one. And, don't let the January, February blues and the failing of your New Year's resolutions get you down. But look forward to that next period of love and joy and giving, and celebrate it every day. Celebrate it with abundance, and everywhere you walk, everywhere you go, everywhere you interact, or everywhere you chat online, see if you can make the recipient of your behaviors and communications vibrate just a little bit better and add sunshine and happiness and joy to their life. God bless y'all.